Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one for you, back with another live. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about some of these corporations and companies and just how they just make some of the dumbest decisions. And yes, I know that get woke, go broke is like it, it's almost a cliche by now, but the people that should know this, the people that are in these corporate boardrooms and stuff, they don't. They, they seem to have not got the message, and the only way for them to get the message is for people to just not buy their product, right? Guys, this all started with let me share my screen here. Who remembers this? I mean, the first major example that I can think of was the Gillette commercial. And this is 2019. Who remembers this? I'm not gonna play it because of the copyright, but okay. So who remembers this, guys? They made this stupid ad. And Gillette lost billions of dollars, right? Look at that. Look at that. And of course, all these woke feminists were like, man, yeah, you need to be the best that you can be, blah, blah, blah. If you're threatened by a razor commercial, you need to be a better man, blah, 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 blah. Right? So what happened? There was a backlash, and a whole bunch of guys just stopped buying Gillette products, right? And guys, what do we see now? That's popping up. Dollar Shave Club. Okay. Before 2019, I didn't even know what Dollar Shave Club was. But now they are a major part of the industry. All of a sudden, their business is going through the roof because they know that razors and stuff are marketed to guys for guys. So all of their commercials and everything involve just regular guy stuff. It's convenient, it's quick, it's for guys. None of this political stance BS, right? And the other one, what is that? What is it? Manscaped? Yeah. Manscaped. They went all in on the dude stuff. They're like, yeah, do you want do you not want to clip your balls or whatever? So I feel like around the time of the whole Gillette thing and the uh what is it called? Manscaped and all these, and even Old Spice went in on the man type of thing. And now they own a good chunk of the market now. Gillette lost billions of dollars, billions, and they have not recovered since. And it's all because guys, we don't want to hear this crap in the products that were advertised in the brands. Let's see if we can find out exactly how much that they've lost. Look at that. 3 years after the We Believe. Look at that. As of this is in 2019, guys, the commercial have been disliked 1.56 million times. And this was years ago, right? And they lost billions of dollars, billions. This is crazy. Sales dropped 20%, all because they had to make some political statement here, guys. Absolutely insane. So, guys, what do we learn here? Oh, so they're saying we sell our products to more than 50% of women. So they're basically saying we don't really care. But you lose that much money, guys, and it hurts. It is hurting. So that's where, like I said, Dollar Shave Club and all these other groups came on in, is they filled the void. Yeah. How much did Gillette lose after that stupid ad? $8 billion that they lost. Okay. And guys, this is nothing new, but Guys, let's just go back here real fast. Just who remembers this movie? Secret to My Success. Yo, I'm really showing how old I am, guys. What? Who remembers this movie right here, dude? The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox, man. Guys, check this movie out. It's pretty good, man. I have to say, this is the one where Mac on Sunny goes, he goes into the office. He doesn't really know anything. He acts like he does, and then he saves the company. He bangs the old chick, and they play "Day Bow Bow." So in this movie, basically, Michael J. Fox is this young guy, and he like sneaks into this company as an employee and just like kind of fakes it until he makes it, right? And this was like a comedy / like absurd type of movie, but I honestly think that this is becoming the new corporate structure, guys, where they put these young, ignorant knuckleheads in charge of these brands and just hope that this movie happens. They honestly hope that by putting these like young producers and directors in front of big budget films, or putting young executives in charge of brands like Budweiser and stuff, it's gonna actually work, and it doesn't. It doesn't, guys. It doesn't. We're gonna talk about the Bud Light backlash once again, just to kind of show you why we're doing this. So, guys, look at this. I made a video about this earlier today, but look, guys, heads are rolling. Wall Street Journal: Bud Light owner places 2 execs on leave after influencer backlash. This is where we're at now, guys. This is where we are at. They put these people in charge. This Anna, whatever her name is, Hennerscheid, who was in charge of this campaign at Bud Light. She just started with the company. Yeah, you know what I mean? And they put her in charge of this. And this is what happens. They're literally trying to do The Secret to My Success in real life. They are trying to do the Michael J. Fox, where he comes in young and saves the company, but with these knuckleheads. This doesn't make any sense, right? So, guys, there are a couple of examples on a small scale that we can see of these businesses getting woke and going broke, right? And the first one is coffee shop charges man tax. Oops, no. Okay, here we go, guys. So let me know in the chat if you remember this, right? Australian cafe that charged man tax to close. Okay, this was in 2019 also. A vegan cafe in Australia that charged men an 18% premium to reflect the gender pay gap, quote unquote, with the funds given to charity is set to close. Soon after opening its doors in August 2017, Handsome Her in Melbourne caused an online media storm when a photograph of a chalkboard outside the cafe explained its voluntary man tax and women priority seating. So not only did they charge men more, but they gave women priority seating too. And isn't that just the ultimate example of what feminism is? We're going to make men pay. And we want special treatment. That is the ultimate summation of everything that's wrong with the feminist movement, okay? Is taking from men for some perceived wrong and then moving forward, giving them preferential treatment. It's spelled out right here. While some praise the idea, others rail on social media that this was reverse sexism, and it is. It is. Co-owner Alexander O'Brien said the response went crazy. It was like a Robin Hood theory of taking from the rich and giving to the poor. Now, guys, let's stop right right there. This article sums up everything that's crazy about these feminists, right? She's assuming that all men, even the homeless guys who are just going in there to maybe just afford a cup of coffee, like he's been saving up change all day. Maybe the other guy who's driving his construction truck or whatever. Maybe the guy who's working fries at McDonald's somehow has more money and should be charged more than women. That's clown world, guys. That is absolute clown world. It helped kickstart some of the strong foundations within the community that were built. Described on the Cafe Facebook page as a man tax, it was only meant to run for 1 week each month, but was made permanent after the publicity led to an increase in customers asking to pay. So now they're closing. Big surprise. Now, guys, a couple of things here. And there's a couple more articles on this. Why, put in the chat, why you think, look, this is a sign. In a space by women for women, house rules. Rule number 1, women have priority seating. Rule number 2, men will be charged an 18% premium to reflect the gender pay gap, which is donated to a woman's service. Rule number 3, respect goes both ways. The disrespect. Look, they disrespect men. And rule number 1, they disrespect men in rule number 1, rule number 2, and then say respect goes both ways. Absolute clown world, guys. Look, so this is when it first happened. And now, of course, they were saying men were abusing them. Oh, boo-hoo. But so the Post clarified that this business closed not because men refused to pay, but rather that the social experiment that was this business simply run its course. Now, guys, why, as a business owner, do you think that you want to market to men? Drop in the comments why you think that you'd rather have a lot of male clients than female clients, right? I'm going to tell you why. Think about how loyal male customers are, okay? We'll root for the same football team, baseball team, buy the same brand of underwear, drive the same brand of cars our whole lives. Men don't switch allegiances, right? How many dive bars have you been to where it's the same group of guys in there 3 or 4 nights a week, having some curly fries or some nachos and drinking the same 3 beers 3-4 days a week? Men are reliable customers. When we find a brand or a place that we like, we will go there day in and day out. Women go with trends. Women will get angry at the service, something silly, and then not come back. Okay? Men, we will keep going over and over and over again. So, Doug MPA was, what's up, man? Doug MPA says men will buy something their whole lives. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Right? So why would you want to alienate men? Even movies, guys. Men will go and watch the same films over and over and over again. How many guys do you know saw Top Gun 3 times? How many guys who saw Spider-Man No Way Home 4 or 5 times, right? How many guys do you know where your dad saw Star Wars, the original one, 12 times in the theater? Absolutely insane. Now, there's one more case of one in the United States that was doing this too, and I'll try and pull that up here soon, right? And how is this smart business? How? It doesn't make any sense. And guys, the best part about this is we can point and laugh at all these morons that do this and they end up eating crap, right? We can laugh at it. We can point and publicly mock them. Okay, but in the meantime, I have a story here, guys. It's a female-owned business, and they only hired women, and it went out of business. And I'm gonna pull that up in just a minute here, and yeah, and we can see this has to be the ultimate go get woke, go broke story here. Because this woman here thought that she would start a business and it was going to be all women. Yeah. And it's going to be this awesome company with women. And then we're not going to have these toxic males and no M2 and all this foolishness. And she ended up going out of business because all the women she hired were just a bunch of knuckleheads. And the environment of all women was so, I hate to use the word toxic, that it ended up making her business go under. And this article is called Cat Fights Over Handbags and Tears in the Toilets. When this producer launched a woman-only TV company, she thought she'd kiss a goodbye to conflict. And this is this person right here, okay? So, it reads, and it's pretty long, so I can kind of jump through it a little bit. But it says, over in one corner sat Alice, a strong-minded 27-year-old who always said what she thought, regardless of how much it might hurt someone else. In the other corner was Sarah, a 30-something high flyer who would stand up for herself momentarily and then burst into tears and run for the ladies' room. Their simmering fight lasted hours, egged on by spectators taking sides and fueling the anger. Sometimes other girls would join in, either heckling aggressively or huddling defensively in the toilets. It might sound like a scene from a tawdry reality show such as Big Brother, but the truth is a little more prosaic. It was just a normal morning in my office. The venomous women were supposed to be the talented employees I had headhunted to achieve my utopian dream, a female-only company with happy, harmonious workers benefiting from the absence of men. Boom, right there, guys. She bought into this foolishness that men are always the problem. So let's just get rid of them and things are going to be 10 times better. And that's why I always say, guys, in a way, I wish that the wokey wokes, that the left, that the people who are far on the left, that for one day you could snap your fingers and give them what they want, right? All these people who say, "Oh, we should let men play in women's sports." Let's just desegregate sports for a day, right? Let's just desegregate all the sports and watch all the women get owned and have there never be females playing sports again, right? Right. So this is her. So Samantha Brick. This is this person right here. Say it was an idealistic vision swiftly shattered by the nightmare reality. Constant bitchiness, surging hormones, unchecked emotion, attention seeking, and a fashion rivalry so fierce that it tore my staff apart. She said a fashion rivalry so fierce it tore her staff apart. Yes, I am not making this up, guys. So when I read the other day that Sienna Miller has said that there's no such thing as a sisterhood, I knew what she meant. I can understand why people want to believe that women look out for each other, because with men in power at work and in politics, it makes sense for us to stick together. Guys, that's BS. I mean, so she is right? Women stab each other in the back and abuse each other, especially at work, more than anyone else. And it's proof of that when most women would rather work for a guy than a woman. That and there's evidence of that. And here we go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this up right now. Gallup poll: more women say that they prefer male bosses. Right here. EV Magazine. Why do women prefer working for male bosses? And this is February 27th. Sorry, I am not subscribing to EV Magazine. That's not going to happen. But yeah, and this is February 28th, 2023. There's magazines and articles and stuff that confirm that women would rather work for a man than work for a woman. Atlas Search, LLC, men and women both prefer to work with men. So people might say, "Oh, AJ, you're being sexist and misogynist," but it's true. Okay, here we go. In fact, okay, 5 years ago, I was working as a TV executive producer, making shows for top channels such as MTV and based in LA. It sounds like a dream job, and it could have been if I'd been male, please, right? So here's a woman working as a TV producer for MTV, and of course, she still thinks that men just have it easier. That everywhere men go, the heavens open, and the angels with hearts come down, right, guys? Okay, gradually, so it started out as a daydream. Wouldn't it be great if there was no men where I worked? Guys, can you think of any guys that will just have a daydream like, you know what, it would be nice if there was no women here? Guys, we don't really talk that way. We joke, but we're never usually serious. Even when it's times where there are women that are obviously making things harder, we don't just think, well, why don't we just get them all out of here, you know? Okay. Working in TV is notoriously difficult for women. There's a powerful old boys network and a robust glass ceiling, and the majority of bosses are misogynistic males. Guys, put in the chat if you've heard of what the glass ceiling is, right? I think we've all heard that term. Okay. Now, there is a term that I call the glass basement. Okay. The glass ceiling is that women always say that there's a bunch of men that are at the top and they're looking down saying, ha, 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 right? Okay. Well, there's a term that I like to call the glass basement. And the glass basement is women are sitting in the middle of society, right? Like the top dudes. I mean, people in society, as far as riches go and treatment, are usually males, right? It's rich guys, and then you have women, and then you have the rest of us guys eating shit, right? The glass basement is the women that have all the privilege because they don't have to work as hard or do anything else, looking down at the rest of us guys who have to work and work hard. These women are looking down the glass basement at all the men that are homeless, all the men who are deleted in the workplace, all the men who are more likely to be victims of violent crime, all the men that are SA'd in prison and no one cares, all the men that are in prison, and they don't even understand what they're looking at. They will never be in that part of society. That's what the glass basement is. The bottom part of societies have always been men. Since in Egypt, in Rome, and all these ancient China, World War II, all this, the men who were dying in wars, the men who had PTSD, all these guys were below the women because we got the worst treatment. That's the glass basement. Vijay Gamers, what's up, man? How's it going? Nice to see you. So, let's get back to this article here. I decided to create the first all-female production company where smart, intelligent, career-oriented women could work harmoniously free from the bravado of the opposite sex. Guys, swap the genders and ask yourself, do you think that a guy could get away with writing this? Honestly. In hindsight, I should have learned the lessons of my past. At my mixed secondary school, I was bullied by a gang of nasty name calling girls. So I knew only too well how nasty groups of women could become. Yeah, look at this chick. I'm not surprised. This is her trying to look all glammed up. Can you imagine her in high school, guys? Oh man, I digress. Everyone's like, you should be above making fun of a person's look. Man, I'm petty. I don't care. Anyways, all right. And working in TV, I met lots of super competitive door slammers who do anything to get to the top. But I told myself that with the right women, work could be wonderful. Guys, let's stop there. What's wrong with women being as super competitive as possible, right? See, these mean girls she's talking about oftentimes, they understand you have to compete with everyone, right? So women want to be up in these spaces, but they want special treatment from men and their fellow women. See, guys, we know that, guys, if we're trying to compete with a guy for the same job, he's gonna do everything but slit our throats, and he might just do that too. And yet these girls go, well, as more of us get into these positions, we need to help each other out and not compete with each other. How does that work, right? Special treatment. Okay. So in April 2005, I left my job, remortgaged my house. Oh, you guys, freeing up close to 100,000 pounds, and began paying myself just $700 a month to set up this utopian quote unquote business. Having worked extremely hard for 12 years, I have lots of experience and good reputation. What could go wrong? So she basically pissed away 100,000 pounds, guys. Picking my battles. I hired a team of 7 staff and set up an office in Richmond upon Thames, wherever that is. You know how these English titles are, right? So while the women I interviewed claimed to be enthused by the idea, they still insisted on high salaries. Fair enough. I thought at the time they are professionals, and I knew most of them were talented and conscientious because I'd worked with them before. So here's the thing. She's expecting special treatment. She's expecting to go into a market on this ethnicist train and get special treatment because she's a woman starting a business. How could you expect any competitive worker to go into a job market and willingly accept less money, but because they're a woman and it's an all-woman business? Please. So you guys see the hypocrisy here, right? Okay. I knew most of them were talented and conscientious because I'd worked with them before. Rajan Gamer says, I'm sorry, but did she not hang around women before? What was she expecting? Cat Wags, what's up, my friend? Does anyone go into a job wanting a low salary? And that's the thing about these woke people, guys. They don't think about the bottom line. Their ideology overrides the fact that you need to make money. And that's the whole thing, like I said, about this Budweiser thing, this Gillette thing, you know what I mean? That stupid cafe that was charging a man tax because of the pay gap, right? They put their ideology over their business sense and they're suffering for it. And there's this whole thing with Bud Light right now. Billions of dollars gone. Billions of dollars. And Doug MPA says women can't stand each other. They want us to deal with them. Facts. Absolute facts. Guys, please remember to drop a like on the stream. I'm going to drop the link here for anyone who wants to come up and join or discuss. But let's get back into this. Within a week, 1 week, guys, 7 days, 5 business days. 2 cliques had developed. Those who had worked together before and those who were producing quote unquote new ideas. Most days would bring a appointed moment when some people were invited out for lunch or a coffee break and some weren't. Nothing explicit was ever said. The cutting Projection was obvious enough. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Guys, how many times have you heard men just go to lunch by themselves and then people will complain? Oh, Reza Gamer, he just doesn't socialize at work. We invited him to come out to lunch and he didn't come, so we're going to go to HR. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Even when we all went to the pub after work, strict divisions remained, made clear according to who sat where around the table and who would be civil or not to whom. Fashion was a great divider, though. In this battlefield, everyone was on their own. Hideously stereotypical and shallow as it sounds, clothes were a huge source of catty comments from sly remarks about people looking overdressed to the merits of their fake tan. So, guys, they always talk about this M2 in the workplace. Oh, these men and their unwanted attention, and they're judging us when they judge each other. When have you ever heard a guy tell a woman about her fake tan or spray tan or whatever? Men get all the, especially regular plain old men, get heat for this M2 stuff when women judge each other based on their looks at work more than anything else. I always felt sorry for anyone who naively showed off a new purchase in the office because everyone would coo appreciatively to their face and then harshly criticize them as soon as they were out of earshot. This happened without exception. My deputy Sarah, the general manager, first showed how much style mattered when she advertised for an office assistant and then refused to hire the best qualified girl because she could not distinguish Missoni from Marc Jacobs. This girl would have been making tea and running errands, but I didn't challenge that. Wait, hold on. Back up, guys. Oh, hold on. You're at a startup company, right? What do you need an assistant for? Because I've worked at a lot of workplaces and I've been pretty darn busy. I have meetings, multitasking. I've never needed an assistant, right? Ever. That doesn't make any sense to me. But women-owned business, right? I didn't challenge the decision not to hire her because I had a policy of picking my battles carefully, and you can tell that this is a woman too, because this is your business, and you're gonna quote unquote pick your battles carefully. So you're gonna let your coworkers get away with foolishness all because you want to pick your battles carefully. She should have kicked this chick out through the uprights. So the office was like a Milan catwalk with the competitiveness of Miss World and the low cunning of a mud wrestling bout. I say this, guys. If these girls have enough money to walk around wearing these fancy clothes, maybe she's paying him too much, A fashion spat ended one friendship when Sarah and our young development researcher received the same surprise Christmas gift, a Chloe Paddington bag worth $900. $900? A Christmas gift? Guys, put in the chat if you would ever buy a woman a $900 bag. And guys, it's not about the money. It's about the principle. It's not about if you can afford to. It's if you would. Okay. When they clocked the matching bags in the office, it was like pistols at dawn. They forced a few compliments, but relations never recovered to the expense of my company. Another time when two staff members bought the same jeans, one proclaimed, "They look better on me because I'm a size 8 and she's a size 10. You can't make this up, man. You could not make this up. Man, oh man. It didn't take long for the whole office to become divided between the girls who wore makeup and those who didn't. Comments from the former were typically, "Doesn't she know what spot cover-up is?" Or, "Has she ever met a hairbrush?" while the no makeup clan were equally biting with comments behind their backs, naturally, such as people on the morning bus must think she's a prostitute or she looks like a slapper. The obsession with appearance meant nearly all the staff were on diets. If I bought a tuna mayonnaise baguette for lunch, I would overhear staff commenting that I was a pig. I'm a size 12. So she overheard her staff saying that, and she didn't do anything. This is her business. You notice how she's just letting stuff slide? Guys, this is because women tend to be more agreeable than men, right? Okay? Most men, if it's your business, guys, drop in the chat if you put up with half this BS, right? Let alone hearing any of your staff directly insult you, right? Two of the skinny girls often snidely said about the largest girl, I'd kill myself. I'd delete myself if I got that big. And one of the assistants got her own back on the food police for several weeks by pretending to buy them fat-free lattes, which were really not non-fat. Employees considered it acceptable to take time off for beauty treatments. Time off for beauty treatments. And not out of their holiday allowance. One girl regularly came in late because she was getting her hair colored, and when I mentioned this, she blew up in outrage. Though at least she had a reason. Most just turned up late regardless and huffed, that's the time my train gets in if I point it at the clock. Now, guys, it's in a way, in this section, it does sound like she's blaming them, but she does need to blame herself for letting this slide. Okay? Rizza Gamer says it's interesting that she created a company that is stereotypically a woman's field and not at all a woman plumbing business. That is true. That is absolutely true. Okay. In hindsight, I can see I should have been more strict. My idealism was my downfall. There you go. Because I tried to see the best in people, and I was convinced that they would behave as they were treated. So I treated everyone kindly. That is the realest thing that she said. My idealism was my downfall. Okay. That is the thing about all this woke marketing. Okay. If I'd have been more cynical, I would have been more successful. There you go. And guys, we are natural cynics. Most of us are. I was often out trying to win contracts, but back at the office, work was an afterthought. It came second to conversations about shopping, boyfriends, and diets. Oh, and spiteful comments from my two development researchers who were sharpening their acrylic nails against another staff member, Natasha. 6 months after the company's inception, tension spilled over when one of the researchers took Natasha's laptop and refused to return it. That day, I was forced to cancel my meetings and return to the office to patch up relations. So she had to leave where she was and go babysit the children that worked for her. Though Sarah, my general manager, was present, she refused to get involved because she didn't want to be the quote-unquote bad cop. Despite being in charge, she was scared the prospect of being bitched about. As it was, though, in a women-only environment, staff were unable to keep their defined roles. Man, oh man, oh man. Gangish, what's up, man? How's it going? So basically, she's saying that the person she put in charge, I didn't want to be the bad guy. Guys, drop in the comments if you're ever at work or dealing with your friends and you're ever afraid of being the bad guy, right? See, that's the thing about us guys, right? If I see my homeboy and he's getting fat or something, or he's like spending all of his cash, I'm like, look, man, you're getting broke, man. Like, what are you doing? Are you getting fat, dog? You need to get in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Soon arguments became a daily occurrence. It would start with snide comments between two people. Then, as others joined in, emotion and anger would grow until eruption, shouting, screaming, swearing, which always left someone in tears. And they're supposed to be making money, guys. Oh, and there's a plot twist. They actually start hiring guys, and then it really goes downhill with these chicks. Then the friends upset would follow. Gang, it says he's sipping a Bud Light. Oh man. Watch your voice raise about 8 octaves or whatever with like that challenge on TikTok, right? All right. Okay. Then the friends of the woman who was upset would follow her to console her, leaving one group in the office and another group in the ladies' room. Both would then bitch unreservedly about each other and do absolutely no work. So this woman, for all you guys who need to catch up here, she mortgaged her house. She was working for MTV as a producer and said, oh, all these horrible men, they're all misogynists and blah, 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 right? And she leaned back in a chair and said, hey, you know what would be great? If I could work somewhere where there's no men. So she mortgaged her house for £100,000, started a company, hired all women, and everything's going to shit. Okay. So it reached the point where I even wrote a handbook for staff on how to be nice to each other. The advice centered on being respectful to everyone and treating people equally, taking phone messages properly, whether the call was from me or a junior. I also said that there should be no more criticizing or whispering in the office. But although when people read it, they said that they loved the idea, it made no difference. Many of the women were aggressive or defensive or both. The most aggressive masked a host of insecurities with their outgoing nature, while the defensive ones opened up only when provoked. Here we go, guys. The worst type I encountered, however, were passive aggressive. She doesn't seem being mean, but is the worst of the pack, ruthlessly bringing you down in such a sweet and unassuming manner that you don't realize what she's done until long after the event. And Gangish, you are correct. It is hard to run a business, but a lot of people seem to think it's easy, right? Because look, I watch a lot of that Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Rescue or whatever. Restaurant kitchen rescues or whatever, and these knuckleheads get into restaurants, which is like the hardest industry there is, right? And think that it's going to be easy. Broken hearts. She conceals her bitchy words and flowery phrases. So one of my test staff told another, I don't mean to be a bitch, but I just can't bear to be in the same room and breathe the same air as you right now. Oh man. But the biggest force wasn't personality type, it was hormones. Ding, ding, ding. Imagine if we wrote this, guys. Imagine if Gangish or Doug MPA or Reggie Gamer wrote an article saying, I work with all women, and the hardest part about the whole thing was hormones. Yo, man, they would track you down, dox you, and cancel you so fast, right? All right. So when one woman started having IVF, she unleashed her rage without warning and without apology. Isn't that funny, guys? I had done a live and a couple of videos about IVF and these modern women trying IVF when they're like 80 years old or whatever, right? So at least at that time of the month, which in an office staff only by women, meant someone was always at that point. Any bad mood was swiftly passed on to the rest of the team as if by osmosis. Hormones came second as an excuse. Hormones came second as an excuse of her absence and bad temper, only to love life problems. So when one woman split up with her boyfriend, I was told in no uncertain terms by her that I must be super understanding and sensitive towards her at work. In an email she sent me, a true drama queen. Her tears went on for a week. Now, guys, let's just stop. Okay. Guys, all of these women talk about trauma. Don't ever, ever, ever listen to modern women that talk about trauma. All right. So my boy Gangish is in the chat. All right. Gangish has some stories, right? And has like I believe he knows friends and he himself has been incarcerated. He's seen some trauma, all right? And I've never heard my homeboy Gangish complaining about trauma and oh my god, you know what I'm saying? Even women back in the day, back in the your grandmother or whatever, these were women whose husbands died in war, whose husbands died in factory accidents, right? Who dealt with real trauma, real events, real things, and they just got back on the horse and kept working. Who were working in farms, and they would have to have 8 or 9 kids because 3 of them passed away. You know what I'm saying? And now these women act like my boyfriend broke up with me. I can't work. I'm traumatized. How is that trauma? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Naturally, the girl whose boyfriend broke up with her enemies in the office are delighted in her broken heart. Man. Another girl juggling 2 relationships at once frequently primed everyone in the office about what to say to whom whenever either of the men called the office. Another woman had a voracious sexual appetite and in a female-only environment saw nothing wrong with screeching across the open plan room details of her marathon sex sessions. I received frequent complaints about her crude language. I can still remember the name of all my staff's boyfriends and their affairs because it interfered with our work so often. Professionally, however, the company was somehow thriving. We secured 2 program commissions, one with ITV and a series with Living TV. So now we could afford new offices in West London. Yay, right? You'd think that this would be a good thing. But this brought another explosion from Sarah when she paid out for a parking permit while another girl, she was given a free space by the building's landlord. Oh no. You know how women always trying, well, you gave her this and why don't I get that? Blah, 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 right? During a massive roast, Sarah said the girl had overstepped her rank while the girl told her it was just tough. They never spoke again. The effect a lack of testosterone was having in our office was even more apparent when, here we go, guys, plot twist, right? When I temporarily hired 2 male directors to work on a series. Camera operators are usually male because of the heavy equipment, which makes sense, right? The team suddenly became quieter, more hardworking, less bitchy, partly because they were too busy flirting. Hey, Gangish, man, you have camera skills, man. They should have sent you in there. You'd have been smashing left and right. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. 2 girls openly went after one director, even though he had a live-in girlfriend. His girlfriend didn't stand a chance against their relentless flirting and was dumped when one of them won his affections. When we had meetings with men, staff turned ferocious, each out to prove that they were the sexiest in the room. So with a male commissioner at Channel 4, one employee said, "Watch this," and then stuck her hand down her bra and tweaked her nipples. So the man and I were speechless. In this climate, I didn't dare employ any men because of the distraction. And even worse, the cat fights they created. Guys, this is coming from a woman. This isn't coming from me, all right? I hate how much that sounds like stereotyping, but I'm afraid it's what I found to be true. And while I stand by my initial reason for excluding male employees, because they have an easy ride in TV. She still can't get over it. She's saying, well, I meant well, because to this day, men still have it easier. If I were to do it again, I definitely employ men. In fact, here we go, guys. I probably employ only men. You guys, I can't make this up. She said, men have it easier. Let's hire women to men have it easier. But I'm going to hire all men because, more money. Okay. Making close to $500,000 in our first year should have meant profit. Here we go, guys. But this was wiped out by high salaries and accounting errors by staff. Then we began having cash flow problems. Sarah, her manager, signed herself off sick with stress for a month. So she just took a month off. She also confessed that she's been dodging calls from people who were due payment, thus ruining my firm's reputation. By then, I was back and forth on the planes between Britain and the U.S., dealing with fractious staff in London and barmy LA producers. My general manager was nowhere to be found. Bills hadn't been paid and tensions in the office were palpable. To pump extra cash into the business, I sold both my cars. But by then it was too late and we went into bankruptcy. Less than 2 years after I'd formed the company. Though I will not absolve myself of all guilt, I believe the business was ruined by the destructive jealousy and infighting of my all-female staff. Their selfishness and insecurities led to my company's demise. When I needed the so-called sisterhood, believe me, it just wasn't there. Wow. Boom. Right there, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guys, let me know what you think. I'll drop the link for anyone who wants to come up. And guys, I mean, look, there are women out there who have that cold, calculated, like Cinderella's evil stepmother, Hillary Clinton type thing going on, where they will do anything to make money, right? So, well, they're just as competitive, if not more than men, and they'll was a club a baby seal to make money, right? But in general, women tend to be agents of chaos, right? And they're so unaware that they're blaming men for all the problems that oftentimes they cause for themselves at life and in the workplace. Look at this whole M2 thing. All this bullying comes from women to other women. They really think men are going. We're busy working, so we don't have time to go around bullying women and talking about their clothes and all this other foolishness. What a joke, right? Now, I have one more article that I can show you guys. Let me pull this up, and the link is for anyone who wants to join. Pull this up here. Okay. This is an article. This is a female YouTuber, and she has an article about how to deal with bullying in the workplace. Let me share my screen. Now, this is what to do with bullying at work, right? Oh, excuse me. Mean Girl at Work survival tips. Let's go.
If you clicked on this video, you're either...
And let me know. Let me see. So you should be able to hear it, but my StreamYard's been active.
Patriarchy Patty, or you've been hurt by her. And if you clicked on this video, you're either Patriarchy Patty, or you've been hurt by her. And we're going to figure out which one you are today. Hello, welcome back.
You're either Patriarchy Patty or you've been hurt by Patriarchy Patty, because they just can't admit that women are just mean because women are mean. It's a woman that's manifesting patriarchy, right? Of course. Once again, men problem all the time, bad, of course.
Back to my channel where I help you slay your career and cultivate the successful life you deserve. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today, I'm talking to you about mean girls at work. Generally, when you watch my videos, and if you've been around here for a while, you know I generally am very focused on the tactics and the strategies, but I think this one is a topic that we really need to dig in and we need to understand it a little bit more because there are some very complex dynamics that are at play. Quite honestly, this is—
Guys, you know someone's full of crap when they're always saying, well, you know, you got to understand how complicated things are. Guys, most things in life are really simple. All right, they just are.
This is my third attempt at making this video. I have recorded and edited it twice only to basically bin it because it didn't feel right. And the reason why I wanted to record this and have this conversation today and just kind of see what comes out is that I think that it is a really important conversation for us to have, because until we have it, we're not going to make the progress that I know each of us really wants to make in order to have career success for ourselves, but also to create more successful and equal workplaces in general. So today I am going to be talking about the classic mean girl at work trope and the women that are stepping on other women in order to lift herself up. If you haven't already, I highly suggest that you grab yourself a coffee, tap that like button, and let's get into it.
Now, guys, I don't see anything wrong with women stepping over each other because men step over each other all the time. Okay, so they want special treatment. They want men to just let them into the promotions, and women to just let them skate on by. No.
The first thing I wanted to do was just a reality check. Because if you clicked on this video, you're either patriarchy Patty or you've been hurt by her. And we're going to figure out which one you are today. There is a reality of mean girls at work. Even though the minority of bullies at work are women, they do tend to target other women. And that's why—
Guys, who believes that? Drop in the comments, guys, if you honestly believe that the minority of bullies in the workplace are women. I really find that hard to believe. I really think that they focus on the way men physically and verbally, like, we're more direct, right? So, like, if, you know, Doug MPA or Gangenstein were at work and we were gonna bully a guy, we would be like up in his face, like, what? You know what I'm saying? But girls bully each other in more subtle ways. So I don't think that those statistics are correct, right?
Why we have so many stories about women hurting other women at work. But I want you to really think about the women that you've worked with. All of the women that you've worked with. And if you really want to extend it, all of the women that you know. Because chances are the vast majority of women are awesome people.
All right, guys. Who believes that, right?
So really, when we're thinking about the mean girl at work, we're thinking about a teeny tiny percentage of women that are hurting other women in the workplace. And while I've had awareness about this dynamic and the reality—
Guys, quick, look, this is the other place. Look, this is in Pittsburgh, okay? Pittsburgh pop-up shop charges men more than women. Look at that. A roaming store is shining a light on the gender wage gap in different states. Pay what you're paid. That's the pricing model behind a new traveling pop-up shop called Less Than 100, which seeks to shine a light on wage inequality. The inaugural Pittsburgh outpost, launched by artist Alana Schlenker, because, of course, has been charging men full price all month, but women pay just 76% of the price for all items, a number that reflects the American Association of University Women report that that's the average wage gap in Pennsylvania, which we all know, guys, that the wage gap is BS, right? Clearly, 76 is really oversimplified. When you look at profession, age, race, it's worse or better. But this is something that we're discussing a lot in the store, depending on who you're talking to. There are a lot of different opinions on what the impact of the wage gap can be. So for those of you guys who aren't clear on this, I know that a lot of you guys are red pill guys. The wage gap is a myth. Okay, it's been debunked forever. Okay, it just has been. And actually, so women, so between the ages of 18 and 31 out earn men now. You know what I mean? And people are still on this BS. I don't understand. Matter of fact, here we go. Let's check this out. Let's do a little. This is in the 80s, right? This is Thomas Sowell. We're jumping around a lot, but this shows how crazy that this store is. Watch.
The statistics I was able to pull together indicate that at the present time, white males make $17,427 on an average basis for the year. Black males make $12,738. White females make $10,244. Black females make $9,476. It is clear from these figures, as indeed I think it's clear to most of us from what we see, that there is a discrimination against blacks and against women in our present system. Since not all blacks will be superior, how would you try to even that out so that there would be some equality of job opportunities?
I'm sorry you missed the earlier part of the program when I pointed out that where you find people not represented evenly, that does not show the institutional effect, because almost nowhere in human affairs do you find people evenly represented.
Well,
if you compare comparable people with respect to age, with respect to education, etc., you get a totally different picture, both with respect to blacks and women. Now, the figures that I saw, for example, showed more recently that if you take black families where the husband and wife are both college educated and compare them to a white family where the husband and wife are both college educated, the black family is now earning $2,000 a year more.
Yep.
The problem is that very few blacks fall in that category.
Exactly.
That when you compare category for category, then we're talking about getting people a decent education. I'm saying that you cannot say that numbers collected at the employer's place of business reflect simply the employer's policies. Those numbers reflect underlying conditions in the whole society, just as numbers collected at the hospital do not show you that the people are sick because they're in the hospital.
Facts.
No, I would agree with that, but you would also have to agree that generally speaking, women are paid less, for example, for the same job.
Here we go.
No, I would not. I would not agree with that. If you're talking about women with the same number of years of experience, with the same continuous service, et cetera, then when I look at that, I don't find that disparity. I find, for example, in many cases, the women are making more, depending upon how you break the data down.
There you go. And this is in 1981. 1981, and we're still on this wage gap foolishness to where businesses are getting woke and charging men more and going out of business and whining and crying and moaning. Are you the hatchet man, gangish? They call you in there to be judge, jury, and executioner. You're Judge Dredd in your workplace. Oh yeah, so I just wanted to just play this Thomas Sowell clip. I'm gonna drop this in the chat for anyone who wants to watch it later. But let's get back to the Mean Girls, guys. What would you have done if you got hired to that woman's all-female company to even things out? You walked into a total shit show. Can you imagine Doug MPA, Rage Gamer Gang, is all of us walking into there, and there's all these British chicks losing their damn minds. Hello, governor. I'm on me period, governor. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
Of it for quite some time. I really honestly struggled to verbalize it, which is weird since I'm sitting here talking to a camera all the time. But sometimes I think that we just need to find the right words to describe it. Recently, I read How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend. But in one part of the book, he actually talks about patriarchal women, and this was just, it clicked for me. It made so much sense, especially when it came to the mean girl at work.
Guys, what these feminists call patriarchal women now is any woman that doesn't follow this narrative. Patriarchal women is the same term that like blacks use to call where they use the Uncle Tom word, right? That's basically all. If a woman is pro-life, if a woman wants to get married and have kids, if a woman doesn't want to be out there, doing masculine jobs like working on an oil rig, then she's a patriarchal woman. She's a sellout to the cause. And I think that it's funny that a lot of these traditional women who will actually put a hot dog on a plate for their boyfriend or their husband end up getting married and being happy. And then these purple-haired, goofy looking chicks who are all smashed to patriarchy end up alone with a dog,
The mean girl at work is patriarchy Patty, and she is exchanging on the privilege that she does have in order to lift herself up, but it's coming at the expense of other women and other minorities.
That's how it's supposed to work. You are supposed to get to where you're supposed to get, and damn everyone else except your wolf pack, except those closest to you. All the promotions that I got, do you really think that I gave a damn about anyone else? I need to get my money. You know what I'm saying? After I get there, I'll bring people up, yes. But this whole thing where everyone has a obligation to the they out there. Come on, man. That's ridiculous.
We can't talk about the fact that patriarchy Patty is hurting other women without acknowledging that she is also impacting other minorities in general. It is not possible to be anti-feminist and be anti-racist or anti-anything else at the same time. These things all have to be together. It truly is all or nothing when it comes to inequity in—
What is she talking about? Doug Impie, are you hearing this, dude? When these woke white chicks are some of the most racist people that I've ever met in my entire life.
And I would also, I'd also say, because here's one of the best parts about these types of people. All you just do is just keep talking. This is gonna get worse and worse and worse.
There's an evil white guy, Gangish.
And then
he's an evil, horrible, patriarchal white man.
And then real quick, on this subject, right? I found this study. It says it came out January of 2023 because I was looking for videos on my channel. It said British men quit their jobs when too many women joined their departments. It says when 75% of the employees
You want to share your screen?
I'll send it to you in the chat.
Yeah, I can pull it up. Yeah.
The private chat. Hold on 1 second.
But yeah, Gangus, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Man,
I've been thinking about this for a while, because this is how I try to look at the world. Every time I think about something, I think, how does that apply if you apply it at scale? If you apply it en masse across the whole country?
Yeah.
And then, so I was dating this woman. Making like 120 grand. She's doing well. She's high-powered businesswoman, boss bitch, all this, right? But they would just, oh my God, homie, she would get off work and it would just be this toxic fucking dump of this bitch. She did this and she did this and this was this and I hate her and I can't stand my boss. And it was like, all I'm thinking is, this is happening in office spaces all over the country.
Facts.
Right? It has to be. If it's happening right in front of you, it's happening somewhere else.
Yep. That's facts. And the thing is, we have a finite amount of effort and basically fucks that we can give, right? We have a finite amount of, and these women are wasting a good amount of time and effort that they could be making money or making your business money on this foolishness. And then they come home and unload all this foolishness on their husbands and boyfriends.
I was looking at another article the other day where you guys know that term, like emotional and extra labor at home. Well, these women are trying to say that they're doing more of the unpaid work in the office too, because they have to do all of the diversity and inclusion work and the morale work and all this crap that nobody gives a damn about.
Yeah, we got to make money, man. See, that's the thing about guys, man. Like, we don't have to like each other. All we have to do is go to work and respect each other enough to get
a paycheck.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, I am gonna argue with you on that a little bit, because I can remember I can remember telling my lady she didn't want to participate. They wanted her to do a white elephant thing. And she was like, she didn't want to participate in it. And she was like, she came back and gave me her reason, was like, oh, I told him no because of this and that and this and that. And she was like, she got kind of sad. And I was like, you got to realize that, like, you know, people do put labor and stuff into these things. Because, like, if she does something for me, right? If she had done something for me and I just blew it off, she would get hurt, right?
But Genghis, the problem is they're using that as a. Oh, he's on mute. He's on mute.
Ooh.
No.
You.
No, he stopped talking because he's listening to you.
Okay. So the problem is, don't use that as a metric to try to say that women are getting paid less. That's my problem, because you can say no. The work essential to your pay, you can't say no to almost all the time, but you can say no to diversity and inclusion, morale work. Get out of here, man. Come on.
Team building. Yeah, they're trying to say
morale work is important, though. I think morale work is important.
Yeah, but as a guy in my office that always plans the happy hours, that always plans the things, like I do that all the time because I run my damn mouth all the time. I'm a people person, but I don't argue and say that that's too much extra effort, and that's the reason why I'm getting paid less in the workplace. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to argue one more thing. With more women in the workplace, the myth of loving your job, like men, we don't go into the workforce with any intent of finding a job that we love or making a difference. Women want to love their job and somehow make a lasting. A lot of us men, we worked enough to provide for families, and that was our impact on the world. But women want to take a marketing degree and somehow make a dent in the universe. Like, what are you doing?
But it's stereotypical though, because you look at all of these men, like our granddads and dads. How many of the older guys do you know had a dream, right? But then they knocked their girlfriend up when they were 19, 20, got married, took a job at the plant and worked a job they hated for 50 years, put 2 or 3 kids through college, had a house or whatever. That's what men do. You guys remember the Flintstones? Hold on, let me show you guys this. You remember the Flintstones? Flintstones, what was that called?
You remember George Jetson? All he did all day was push a button at Spacey's Pockets. Remember that? Yeah.
Flintstones,
that's it. But women, they... I have to make a difference, and I'm gonna do all this. No, you're not. You're not.
You guys remember this? When Fred and Barney, they would go to the water buffalo lodge because they would stop at the water buffalo lodge before they got home. That's all they had. They hated
their Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
the movie. He's like, after this, son, all it is memories and babies. That's it. Like,
yeah.
Men, we accept that grim reality. Women don't.
It's a joke, but it's true. Like all these guys, they come home and this is the one thing that they have where they got to go home and deal with the wife and the kids and the screaming and the yelling, and then they got to get up and go to work some mind-numbing job. But this is what men do, and we're okay with this. You know what I'm saying? But then you have women who are complaining more, and we're doing less, and then it just doesn't make any sense. Just like the whole trauma thing, and I didn't mean to call you out specifically, gang. Like some of the stories that you tell on your channel, and then some of the experiences you talk about, you have some trauma. Issues to say you have trauma about, but women now throw the trauma word around like it's a hot potato. Oh, my boss blew up at me at work. I have trauma. You don't have trauma. What are you talking about?
The new holistic model, the new model of rehabilitations. I know this because I work in rehabilitations. So the new model of rehabilitation is called TIC, trauma informed care, and it's all about understanding that people have gone through a bunch of stuff and that their traumas have created the individual that you see in front of you, right? Mm-hmm. And they got all these fancy words for describing it. And I'm like, dude, that's like saying foot informed care. Everybody goes through trauma. You know what I mean? That's what I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I get into it with them. I get it because my boss is actually clinical. The woman that I work for is actually clinical. So they can set, I can't do much. All I can do is just talk to them. I can talk to the clients and listen, just listen, give them a spot to talk. You know what I mean? I can't go any farther than that. But yeah, they're pushing this model now. And it's like, so now the clients have heard this trauma word. Now they've picked it up, and they're using it as a weapon too. That explains all the bad things in their life.
Or dang, it's even worse. Even worse.
They put this trauma word out there, thinking that it was a good thing. But what do we say?
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
It's like the whole mental health thing. Like,
Nice.
Oh man.
It's like the whole mental health thing. Tech companies are laying off tech employees, but aren't concerned about the mental health of a layoff. What about the mental health of the what is this? Everything is some kind of mental health issue. A lot of the times, especially as a man, you just gotta sack it up, dude. Sack it up.
Gang, one of our first conversations that we ever had. Do you remember we talked about Twitter and how this guy did an interview with this guy that worked at Twitter, and he was basically saying, yeah, there are just times where we just don't feel it. We we'll just work 1 day a week. We just don't feel it. Say, you're supposed to be making money. And then Elon comes in there and says, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
I think Twitter only has 35% of its workforce now or something.
Yeah. And everything's working just fine. Here we go. So to keep going, so this is this business here that charges men full price and women 76%. I mean, 76 cents for every dollar, right? They're closing obviously, but because they piss people off. Okay. While the less than 100 Pittsburgh location will close its doors, so people were just not having it, man. They just weren't. And I just don't understand why people think this was a good idea, and why. Like I said, gang, do you remember that movie, The Secret to My Success, the Michael J. Fox movie? Remember? Bow, do bow, right? To my success. So this movie, it came out in the 80s, and it's fantastic, man. Let me share my screen. And he's this young guy because Michael J. Fox being young, right? And he just kind of walks into this corporation and acts like he's a guy who works there and he knows what he's talking about. And he's trying to fake it till he makes it and ends up saving the company millions. And then he bangs his hot older aunt who's not related to him, but his uncle's wife. Anyways, so I feel like this movie is what these corporations are trying to do now. They're taking some young kid who doesn't know what the hell that they're doing and putting him in charge of Lucasfilm and Bud Light and all this other stuff. And then they just crash into the ground. And then they're like, we don't understand why. It's look, 75 to 80% of everyone that drinks Bud Light is men, right? And you don't want to alienate the majority of your customer base to try and bring in new customers who don't drink beer anyways. Gen Z and younger millennials don't drink beer. They drink Hennessy and all that other stuff.
White Claw and stuff.
Yeah, they drink seltzer and they drink Hennessy and stuff because the rappers push it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't say, let's go completely to the left and hire some Harvard-educated woke chick and put her in charge of the brand, and then all of a sudden you have this transformer more than meets the eyes peddling Bud Light, so
well, do you have to look at it from a business standpoint? Plenty of different corporations have successfully endorsed Dylan and there hasn't been a backlash, right?
Well,
they're thinking they could get in under the radar. They could slip in with.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I know Nike did it, but a lot of the female Olympians were pissed off. Like, look, we've been doing sports and winning medals forever, but then again, so when it comes to the Transformer stuff, women aren't heard anyways. But there's one thing that the Gillette thing showed, and this is showing us. Men, we vote with our wallets and our feet. Name brands and stuff that have pissed you off. You just don't buy it anymore. A lot of men. What's that?
So this is something I watched on purpose after the George Floyd incident, right? Mm-hmm. After the George Floyd incident, the very first game that I saw to come on TV was the Kansas City Chiefs game. Mm-hmm. And what they did at the beginning of the Kansas City Chiefs game, before the coin toss, they tried to have a Black Lives Matter moment of silence or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the entire Chiefs stadium fucking blew up, exploded. Boom!
Yeah.
Started throwing things onto the field. Like it just went fucking crazy. And they cut away. They only showed it, the news showed it or the TV showed it for maybe 10 to 12 seconds, and then they cut away from it. And you never seen it again. But then after that, you seen them start backing up. The NFL started backing up. And men don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That doesn't make those people in the crowd bad people. It just means they came to see a football game. That's it. Yep. If they wanted to see, look, I am black. I don't want to see that foolishness in football. And guys just want to drink beer, right? And what's crazy is I told you guys that the guy that made the I don't want to see this idiot chick's face anymore. But the guy that made the new Bush commercial. I hope I don't get dinged. Commercial. Do you remember this? Where let me see if I can play the last part of it. It was like Bush. Remember that commercial? Let me see.
The Bush guy told him.
So the guy that actually made a commercial for Bush, that actually made their brand good again, he was part of this Dylan Mulvaney thing. He got instead. I don't want to get copyright. Sorry, guys. Let me see.
Yeah.
Get the, but yeah, so somehow that knucklehead got involved too. So what in my video, I was saying, what were the checks and balances, or what's the process in a lot of these corporations? Because I know that the CEO and all of them were all woke, and they basically were saying, look, we need to get woke. But that Dylan thing, like, who let this chick just go free reign? And someone in my comments was like, you're naive and this and that. And it's like, hey, look, you are probably right. What I'm not saying that I'm not trying to defend anyone here. What I'm saying is, process-wise, if you're talking about $1 billion company, you got to have processes put in place that keep one person from being able to make a decision like this. And if you don't, then you're a bunch of idiots. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I laugh. And I liken this back now to Marvel woke is trash. Disney with Lucasfilm and Star Wars is trash. And here's the thing, guys. Once again, we vote with our wallets. We just don't. We don't buy it. We just don't. Gillette learned the hard way. They lost. Hold on. How much money?
Well, you got to think how many alternatives there are to Gillette,
yes.
Right? Or Bud Light. There's 800 other beers.
Yep.
You know.
Look at this. They lost $8 billion, and this moron says we lost $8 billion after our toxic masculinity ad campaign, but it was worth it. The younger crowd isn't going to buy their stuff unless regardless of virtue signaling. So it's funny that before this, I don't remember Dollar Shave Club or or Manscaped or any of this stuff they have now. You know what I'm saying? But they sure did slide on in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't know who else we're gonna see, but hey, you had reported Gangish and Doug MPA both on Tucker Carlson, and then what's his name?
Don Lemon.
Sweetness.
Oh, Sweet Cheeks.
Yeah. and just real quick, because I don't know what's going to happen with either one of those two, because I'm not for the left or the right. They're both clowns, but the right's not ready to let go of Trump yet. They said 70% of the right is still in favor of him, and then all those text messages of Tucker Carlson saying that he hated Trump are out there. So I mean, like, I don't think we're going to see him until at least after 2024. And then Don Lemon's been a mess, so I don't know what he's gonna do.
This guy, man, he is an absolute mess, dude. Like I said, he is not invited to the cookout, man. I don't know what this dude's problem is. Straight up, man, this guy is a clown, absolute clown.
And he was on CNN for 17 years. There was some outlet that put like 15 of CNN's, greatest gaffes on air or something like that. And like, I think half of them were done. I have to double check it. Don't quote me on that, but it was enough where after that came out, people were coming at Don Lemon.
That it was because of how he was toxic towards female workers. So, and it's like, dude, he's gay. And they took him down for that. And then Tucker Carlson, they said that he was part of this group of guys that made some woman testify in that trial against the voting machines that they lost, the defamation suit. This woman
for $787 million.
Yep. So you know what? Good riddance that both of them are gone. Let's look at this. Carlson.
And Tucker Carlson had the most watched cable news show on television. And so he didn't even get a goodbye show. So his last show was Friday. And then I think that they're going to, I don't even know if he gets to go into the office and get his stuff. They're probably going to mail his stuff to him in a box. Well, everything except his red swing line stapler.
Yeah, man. Who knows?
Well, no, but think about just like 2 weeks ago, they made James O'Keefe resign, right?
I didn't see that. Let me see.
James O'Keefe from Project Veritas.
Oh, did they?
They forced him to resign. Nobody knows why. He gave a speech about it, like a 45-minute speech, a farewell speech on YouTube. But they just kind of buried it. But yeah, they forced him to resign from his own company. And he had on the board, he had all the, like, how much money that Project Veritas made every year since he had been CEO. And it was just racking up double, all the way to the end. And then he's like, and I doubled it from last year, and now they fired me.
They're trying to say that it's because of misspending, financial malfeasance, huh?
That fool built fucking whenever that thing started, they had like $500,000 or something like that. That's what they started with, $500,000 like 10 or 12 years ago.
And now it's now worth like that on a black, was it private cars and DJ equipment, all of that. So it looks like that he wipes his ass with that much money now. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was worth like $70 million by the time he was done, or something like that.
Damn.
And that's a nonprofit. He's running a nonprofit.
Wow.
Just exposing the truth.
Gangish, man, you had made a short about the targets and and how everything's under glass. You said that was in San Francisco, right?
That's what it says.
Look. Have you seen the Walmarts ransacked in Chicago, where they're completely empty? Chicago.
Do you see that Target in San Francisco put all of their stock behind glass?
Yeah. That's what he had showed earlier today. But there was videos of just people just did the bum rush, man, and just took all the stuff out the Walmart. You know what I'm saying? In Portland, Oregon, too. Portland, Oregon, man, look, I'm from the West Coast, but the West Coast just needs to fall off the into the ocean at this point. This is just crazy, man.
All that, huh?
Portland, Oregon, crime.
AJ, I gotta drop off. But
Yeah, I gotta get to it in a little bit too. But yeah,
always good talking to you guys.
yeah,
Have a
but
good
yeah, I'm gonna end on this, right?
Yeah.
What you can never be woke enough. You can never please the woke, right? That's just the thing. That's why you never apologize to these people. And then once you do go woke, you have to keep there's gonna always be one group that you're gonna offend, right?
Yeah.
So just stay out of it. If you go too far, you're gonna say, oh well, you didn't consider some obscure tribe in the Amazon, or you didn't consider, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so don't even try it, because you're dealing with a bunch of people who pride themselves on not being consumers. Okay, number one. And then they're constantly looking for stuff to get pissed off about. So
Facts.
why even do it? Why? So, Genghis, you got anything before we close out? I'm going to drop the link to your channel here while I have you on the line.
Well,
You got
I'll say this. I
Yeah.
dropped a video a couple hours ago. It is not monetizable because it is entirely too raw. Please go check it out and show some support. That video is raw. It's a straight interview I did with a person.
Here, let me. Oh, wow. Okay, let me just put the link to that too. Yeah, guys, check out Genghis's channel, man. Genghis has been rocking my channel for a long time. And he talks about some real shit. He does a lot of really good stuff in his community, you know. And yeah, man, I mean, he really does tell it raw. So, do you have any other projects or social media you want to plug while you're here?
Nah, that's it right now.
Cool,
Just pushing
cool.
that.
All right, you guys. I appreciate this. This is AJ.
Later, brother.
Genghis, yo, I emailed you. Oh. Yeah, anyways, I'll have to reach out to Genghis. Guys, I'm going to start doing some movie reviews. So I want to start with Blood In, Blood Out because that's one of my favorite films. And Genghis, I'm going to ask him to guest star. So, all right, you guys, take it easy. And I'm out of here.